Hello, everybody.
Good afternoon. Happy Friday.
Happiest of Fridays.
The happiest of Fridays. Everybody
Yes.
needs to understand that today is a happy Friday.
Is this our last Happy Friday?
I don't know. What's happening next Friday?
Christmas. It's like the 25th.
Oh,
Today's
yes.
the
I guess we
18th.
wouldn't do a... Do we do a...
Do we do a show?
Do we do one on Thursday?
Oh. Before Christmas dinner.
Before Christmas dinner?
Yeah.
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 Well, it's only going to be myself and Cass and the dog.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
New South
yeah.
Wales is closed. So
Oh, I know. That's
my
sad
parents
times.
can't come. No
That is
visit from my
sad
folks.
times.
It's very sad for a Christmas. Welcome,
Yeah.
everybody. All the people that have joined.
Welcome. All 0 people.
0 people. No, we got 1 person.
Yay.
It's all good. We have a very interesting show. I suppose we could call it like almost like an end of the year type of show.
Oh, yes. I have questions.
G'day, JT. Welcome. You know what? I might make this window here like that. That just works better because we can see everything that's happening. So, Casper, I think you're going to lead the show
Patrick.
today. I've just come back from work. I rushed over here.
Welcome.
Cheers, everyone. It's bloody
Yeah.
hot today.
Cheers. It is so hot in Perth.
We've had a tough year. 2020 has been tough. It's been tough on gamers. I think it's been
Yeah.
really tough on
I
gamers.
think it's been tough on a lot of people. Like, I feel a little bit bad because
Yeah.
my year has been pretty good. I find it's been like the best year I've had in a long
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I just got to keep it on the low. That I feel like because
Well-
everyone else is suffering.
I'd have to agree. Actually, the worst thing that happened is literally finding out yesterday that WA has again closed the border and
Yeah.
people from New South Wales cannot visit. That's literally the worst thing that's happened to me.
Yeah, that sucks.
Because I suppose COVID obviously affected a whole bunch of people, but I was talking to a bunch of companies and they've said that they've had a massive year of sales.
Really?
I guess for example, let's say like any retailer
Yeah.
that's selling anything to do with camping,
Right.
massive.
Yeah.
PC shops,
Oh
massive.
my God! Cleared the
Gaming,
aisles.
massive.
Yeah.
We've seen a massive sale of everything.
Massive.
So
So with 2020 coming to an end, I thought I'd put a list of questions together, and I'd be very interested to hear not only Patrick's and obviously I'll share my thoughts as well, but for you guys as well in relation to gaming. So the first question I've got for you is
wait, hang on, Casper.
Patrick.
How was your week?
Oh, how was my week?
We've got questions.
Yeah, we
but
have
I want to
questions,
know how
but how was
Casper's
my
week
week?
has been.
You know what? It's been pretty good. Yeah, just wrapping up everything at work, and this was the last full week of work
Yeah.
that I have. So it's gonna be really nice knowing that the next week's gonna be the last week, but a short week of work, and then it's Christmas time, and I'm excited to actually do some gaming. I haven't gamed much recently.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't.
What's the
maybe,
last
like,
thing you've played?
The last thing I played was Spider-Man, and
Morales?
Yeah, Miles Morales.
Yeah.
And I did maybe an hour of that in the last fortnight.
G'day, Patrick.
Hey, Patrick.
You know what I've realized also?
Yeah.
The only time we catch up now
It's here.
is live on stream.
It's on the stream, yeah.
And we can't talk about naughty things. By that I mean like
Yes,
our private lives in our pants sort of thing, you know.
absolutely. The size of our peepees.
And do let us know if you created a Cyberpunk character with which PP size.
Yeah. yeah, that's right. There's only 2 peepee sizes in that game,
I
isn't
think
there?
so. There's like small
and big, yeah.
which barely any difference.
I know.
I think they should have had like very, very
Yeah.
big, like at least 3 levels, so you could see a bit of a. You know, it was poking through people's
Yes,
pants.
I know.
It's
Yeah, there was a lot
hilarious.
of inappropriate streaming going on. Like Twitch streams were getting shut down.
I think it's fantastic. I think out of all the memes, I mean,
Yeah.
that's gold.
I know.
PP through
Cyberpunk-
pants.
Cyberpunk's tanked, man. So
All right.
hard.
Well, tell us what
All
the
right.
agenda is again. 'cause
All
we've
right,
got a
the agenda,
few new
right.
people.
End of the year 2020. I want to talk some gaming. I want to reflect on the year, and I want to ask Patrick some questions. So, Patrick, what
Yes.
was the most anticipated game in 2020 for you? I
Do
think
we-
we already know the answer to that question.
I mean,
right?
Cyberpunk is definitely
Yeah.
the most anticipated. Is it the best game of the year?
Well, is it? Well, I guess that'll be a question down the line, but like, okay, so it's pretty obvious.
We
That
don't
was
have
the
much
game
time left
we,
in this year.
yeah, I know. Well, that was the game we were all probably very keen
7
to
years
see, right?
of
Yeah,
waiting to see
or-
what it is.
Yeah, 7+ years of waiting, and I was anticipating that game as well. To be honest, I think that was on our list.
You know what I
Yeah.
realized? The reason I'm not disappointed by the game, and a lot of people are, and not because I'm running it on gear that's stupid, like stupid PC parts.
Yeah.
I actually ignored a lot of the content CD Projekt Red was putting out as like what's in the game.
Oh, were you? You were ignoring it?
Yeah, I was not.
Yeah, me
I was.
too.
I
Me too.
watched the
Yeah.
trailer,
Yeah.
and then every time they posted about something, I didn't watch it. Like I watched a few, but nothing that I can't remember what the features they were touting the game to have. Like the
Right.
only thing I watched was that trailer that comes from the guy on the metro, and he's coming out
Yeah.
in the city, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. But I never watched the in-depth videos where they went like, oh, and you'll be able to do this thing, and the interviews, you know, and all that sort
Yeah.
of stuff, where it was like all these features were hyped, and then they got cut.
Oh, did they?
Well,
I don't know.
There's a bunch of things that were like said that would happen, but they haven't quite.
Right.
But I didn't know about these until like post-release, and I was like reading through like the subreddits on Reddit, going,
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, did they really announce that?
Okay,
Like,
you're doing some deep dive.
Yeah,
here.
I'm doing some deep dive, and I was like, yeah, okay, I can understand why people would be like disappointed, because if they've been promising all
Yeah.
this stuff, but I didn't see all that because I specifically wanted to like not see it.
Wow.
G'day, ethnic.
Yeah, I'd be keen to hear actually from chat. What was the most anticipated game of 2020 for you? For us specifically, it was Cyberpunk. It was not only because the hype was there, I think, but it was because CDPR is a company that we love and respect because it's part of our homeland. It's part of our like background as well, that being a big Polish gaming company, something to be proud of. The fact that
Do
they
you still
brought
respect
us
them now?
Yes. Yeah, look, I respect them to an extent for sure. Like the love is still there, but the disappointment was just colossal. It was the perfect storm for everything to go wrong.
Yeah.
You went full blown ambition to the point of how the hell do we optimize it to like hardware that's 1/10 of the power of like modern day PCs? And not only that, but we don't have actual next generation copies of the game. So it's not good on the new consoles because it's extremely low res.
Yeah.
It's extremely awful on the old consoles because it doesn't work. And it's great for PC, but only for the ones that are very powerful.
They
And
should have just
it's-
released it on PC and said, I'm sorry, consoles are not ready. They should have taken the hit, but they didn't.
Yeah, but they didn't.
They need the sales.
And they didn't do that. They needed the sales because it's gonna be that weird transition period, and we wanted to kind of, get the
both.
money now and get both. Get the PS5 and the crazy thing with that is that it's been taken off the PlayStation Store.
Yeah,
They
saw that
removed
today.
it. So if you have a PlayStation 5 digital and you didn't get Cyberpunk, you're done. You can't get the game until they actually bring it back to the store.
Oh, if you have a digital PlayStation
Digital
5.
PlayStation 5. Or if you have the Xbox Series S, you're also screwed. You can't get the game.
Wait. Can't you go online? No.
No.
Holy crap. I was like,
Yeah.
you can't you just log into your computer and log into your PlayStation Network?
Hold on, though. The Microsoft Store is a different thing, isn't it? Because they
Microsoft
said
hasn't taken-
specifically, okay, my
Just the
apologies.
PlayStation Store.
It's just the PlayStation
Yeah.
Store. So it's been removed, and SIE being the Sony Interactive Entertainment, their focus is on quality gaming, to have
Oh,
products that are
is it?
quality. And that obviously the exclusive titles that come out for the Sony games, they're incredible. And hence they just couldn't bear the fact that this game was just unplayable for the PlayStation 4.
It's unplayable. Like,
Yeah, for the
there's no
PS4
doubt about
Pro
it.
and the PS4, it is just unplayable. It's a murky mess. People who have been playing it on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, they said, look, it is playable, but it's just kind of, it's a different experience. It's like somebody smeared Vaseline or like butter all over the
Yeah.
screen, and it's all like murky, and the population is low, and there's a great game underneath all of that. but it hasn't come to the surface yet. So it's an absolute shame. On to the next question. Yeah, start off with such a downer. The game that surprised you in a positive way for 2020.
Oh. I'm gonna muse a little bit. I got a PlayStation 4 for the first time this year, 2020.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I bought the base one for $160 from Amazon. I had a voucher. I just wasn't willing to shell out more for it. No, thank you.
Sure thing, yeah.
And I bought a bunch of games for it. And I never played Sony games until... I mean, I had PlayStation 3, but I never bought Sony exclusives. I think that's something a lot of PlayStation owners do a lot. They buy Sony exclusives. I didn't.
Yeah.
And the game that stood out for me on that whole console generation, I didn't even play it at home. I played it here with you.
Yeah?
And you can guess what it is.
Is it Ghost of Tsushima?
No.
Oh. Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
No.
No.
It was The Last of Us.
Oh, The Last of Us. Really?
That was...
the first one?
The first one.
The first one. Okay.
I was thinking about that game.
Although that wasn't a 2020 release game.
No, but
it
was
wasn't.
in 2020. That made a biggest impact for me.
But that made an impact for you?
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
And that game, we played it, I don't know how long, like
Maybe
multiple
like
hours.
A couple of hours.
Yeah.
Just going through the beginning areas and
So if I'm,
progressing along.
as I said, I'm musing here. If I look back, that game stood out, and it's not even a
Wow.
2020 release.
No, that is a 7-year-old game.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then I think
That's
about
a last gen game.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think about this year, what games have actually come out that have made such a big impact for me, and there's just nothing from this year. I can't think of any.
Really?
I can't think of anything. And
Wow.
I've bought a bunch of games. I bought all the Call of Duties, of course, because I love just chilling back and shooting some stuff. Doom is from 2016, so that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I can't even remember a game that I finished this year.
Oh, I've got one for you.
Okay.
I remember because you told me. It was Mafia Remake.
Yeah, I finished it.
Yeah, you finished it.
But it didn't make an impact.
But it didn't make an impact.
I
Okay.
I can
Wow.
only think of Last of Us, and that might be disappointing to everyone else here because
Yeah.
we're a gaming channel. But honestly, the bunch of games that came out this year, I just can't quite.
Nothing really
Stands out.
compelled you to finish it, to play it.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Cyberpunk. When I sat down to play it on Thursday when it released,
Yeah.
for the first time in my life, I didn't step away because I got bored.
Okay.
The story in Cyberpunk is as good as better. I would say better. Sorry, it's a different type of game from Witcher 3. Like I
Sure,
still
yeah,
I
different.
played Witcher 3. Like that was great, but the story is so enthralling that the reason I stopped doing the main storyline because I thought, oh my god, I've heard it's really short. I don't want this to end.
Whoa.
So the past 15 hours, I've been doing the side quests.
Huh. Okay.
So to me, that that's a standout, but it's not like the most impactful thing in the sense of, well, we can talk about being Cyberpunk being impactful, but
Yeah.
those two things is the only things I can really think about, and I can't pinpoint anything else.
Wow. Okay. Okay. There's
What
nothing else.
what's your
What surprised me in a positive way?
the 2020 game of your surprised self?
Okay, something that surprised me. I kind of felt that it was going to be good or going to be okay, and that was The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
The Last of Us Part 2. What really surprised me about it was that direction of the story, the chances, I guess the risks that the writers took in that, because we have a set formula that we use for movies, that we use for TV shows, that we use for mainstream media, and it tends to work and it gets copied and pasted over and over again because society likes that. But in this case, they used this mainstream product, or a product that became mainstream, and they threw in a story there that a lot of people didn't like because it didn't follow that formula. They broke that formula completely. They shattered our frame of mind.
Yeah.
And that's where the huge divide came. Some people loved it. They were like, yes, this is fresh, this is new, this is horrific at the same time, and it's so impactful. And then other people were like, no, I don't accept it. Like, that's not what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And so it was the most divisive product of 2020. Some absolutely loved it, some absolutely hated it. But I really like the fact that it worked.
Yeah.
It was like flawless essentially day one for both
No
of
bugs.
the console. Like, yeah, for my
Shocker.
experience anyway, there was 0 bugs. I've heard other people that have played it also had 0 bugs. I'm sure there must have been something. Like, there is no way you get a flawless, bugless game.
Yeah.
There had to be some
Yeah.
sort of bugs that people encountered. But it surprised me in a positive way. Like, I thought it was going to be okay, but I didn't think it was going to be like, whoa, okay,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
great. Yeah.
I just didn't connect with the story that time around.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the divisive aspect of it. That's what's so amazing about it, you know?
And I played the first one with you in anticipation of the
Yeah.
second one, and I could connect very easily with the first one. And it could be a cultural background. It could be like the fact that I'm a male and you're playing as him. And
right,
it
yeah,
could
yeah.
be that.
Yeah, the whole
But I
like
also-
you empathize with being a man, so
Yeah.
you connect with a male character and right.
But I
sure.
also love Tomb Raider, and I connect with that
Yeah,
character a lot.
yeah.
And I've, with RPGs, I've created female characters all the time to play as because I was in that world. I felt like I could connect with a female lead character.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was the fact that we were playing as Ellie,
yeah.
but the story just didn't
Didn't click with you.
click with me.
Yeah. No, I get you. There's a lot of people that are on that side. They're like, oh, that's just, I can't empathize. I can't understand. That doesn't click with me. Like, not only is it a female character, but it's also one that's a gay character in a way. So it's like now there's two steps
Opposing
of
views to somebody,
separation.
yeah.
For you. It's like, oh, wow. Okay, I'm not a woman, but I'm also not gay. And it's like, whoa, this like, I feel
But I
so
love women too.
I love women too. Yeah, so there's
I connect on one
there's a
thing.
connection there. So I feel so like removed
Yeah.
from that experience. But I
never
don't
thought
know,
of
it
it that
just-
way. It was more like I can connect with a character no matter what they're doing, if the story is compelling enough for where they're placed in the story.
Sure, yeah.
Because there's part of again, it doesn't matter who the character is because at the end of the day, you end up playing through them.
Yeah.
But if the story is so far disconnected that you couldn't rationalize this character being in this position and doing those things, it's hard to connect the world with the character and then with yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just my weird view of it. But I can imagine again, I come back to Tomb Raider because it's just the most. But Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Loved the game. Played it
Yeah.
on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Couldn't manage the 30 frames.
Oh,
It's
no.
horrible.
Yeah. It's not
So I
the
waited
greatest.
till the PC release, and I've been playing that this year a lot.
Oh,
But it
okay.
still wasn't a highlight because
Right,
it still
okay.
felt. I felt like I was just catching up, so it wasn't like a.
Yeah.
It was out for ages and stuff. But I really
It's
enjoyed
still-
the game.
Yeah, it's still like when you look at the options that you have, it's still a game like especially now on PC you can play it like on Ultra and it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. It's almost like a new game. It's kind of like it's like
yeah.
a new release. Yeah.
But that character, like she had depth
Hmm.
to her background story. It was really well made. Like you sort of followed her from a little child as she grew
Yeah.
into a woman, and then she lost her father figure because of ancient tribal things, and moved on to try and save the tribe, even though they were the ones who kind of didn't want her with them.
Right, yeah.
And it felt like I was like, yeah, that made sense. Like that made sense in this setting, in this world, and who she is. And I haven't finished it yet, but there's also this mystery that's brewing in the background.
right, the whole techie stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
how did this planet become this way?
Exactly, and it leads you to find these pieces of knowledge and tidbits about the history of the world, and it connects back to this character.
Yeah.
It just felt more engaging
Yeah.
than Ellie. But maybe that's just because we already knew a lot about the world and we're just sort of following her story now.
Yeah.
with that story. So it's
Yeah.
maybe it's a bit more
Yeah.
personal.
It's interesting. Like chat is still
Yeah,
like
let's have a look at chat.
Cyberpunk sucks, or like this is how you can run Cyberpunk.
Let's go from Eth says they posted way too much on Twitter. Yes, Twitter was like their thing,
Probably,
right?
Yeah.
I think the first time we saw Twitter wake up was like a beep. Remember, like
Oh
Cyberpunk
yeah,
tweeted
yeah,
beep.
yeah, that's right. And then it's spammed.
Hammy says, "Oh, good day, Hammy." I says, "I know Cyberpunk was going to be crap."
Yeah,
Okay.
and then follows on with Cyberpunk is a scam game.
Well, on console, and I think that's what
Yes.
Patrick says. Yeah, Cyberpunk is sure a scam on console, but on PC, I haven't had any issues. Ed did say, I'm still torn on which platform to play Cyberpunk on. Upgrade PC on puny setup and study, but with superior keyboard and mouse, or PlayStation 5 on a big home theater setup in a lounge on a controller. I have one thought on that.
Yeah.
It's so much more immersive when it's in your full field of view for a
Right.
first-person game. Third person on a big screen is great.
Yeah, I agree. I need it. I like being nice and close to the PC monitor with like the peripherals that
Yeah.
give me maximum control.
Yeah.
And that's like the first person experience. Yeah.
Eth says again they've pulled digital copies of Cyberpunk PlayStation Store. Yep,
Yep.
mentioned in the start. Oh, good day, Danny. Has said haven't installed Cyberpunk 27 on my PC yet. CPU 8700K, GPU 1070 Ti. Actually, there is a little thing you can change in the INI files or config files that should actually run really well on the 1000 series cards.
Nice.
So check that link somewhere. I think I made a video about it. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm doing a giveaway of Cyberpunk.
Yay!
If you guys want to check that out, I'm sure it's on Twitter now.
And don't worry, it's not a console copy, right?
No, it's a PC copy.
Phew.
I wouldn't dare. Patrick says, I've been running it on medium settings on my RX 5800, and it's been a fairly good 50 to 60 frames. I'm guessing that's probably at 1080p.
Yeah.
It says, I don't want to run it at... I want to run it at 1440p at 60 frames on a PC. Yeah, you need a pretty beefy setup to do
GPU,
that.
Yeah.
Patrick says, I have a 1440p ultra wide, but opted to play it on my 1080 monitor because it wouldn't run that high resolution exactly.
Yeah.
It says HZD was a masterpiece. HZD?
Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Was a masterpiece, one of two games I completed this year. The other was Spider-Man, which was a bit cliche. IMO. Was it cliche?
Oh, is that the first Spider-Man? I think. Yeah, and absolutely. Yeah. So,
Well, it's a
yeah,
Marvel.
fairly-
It's a
yeah,
Marvel.
it's a Marvel
Yeah,
thing, and it's
yeah.
like it's like if you've seen a Marvel movie, you've kind of seen them all in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Danny says, from what's seen on site, it looks like it'll be able to play it on medium settings on 1080p. I have a 1440p monitor, 144 hertz, and overclock is 165, I'm guessing. Oh, that'd be... Yeah,
Nice.
but you see, this game is one of those ones you don't need to run it at like 100 frame, like 144, because it's not...
And you can't. That's
And you
the
can't.
Thing.
No,
Yeah,
that
it's
is-
just not possible.
I should probably rephrase. You can't run at that, but you don't need to. Like 60 is absolutely fine. I'm running it at
Yeah.
87, but I've turned off ray tracing.
Yeah.
And I've also got a 3090, so...
So you have the best thing the market has to offer, and
Yeah,
it's
and it's
still
still
like
not-
struggle down.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
still use those improvements.
Question for you: Game that you wanted to play but never had a chance to in 2020.
Is it because it's not on PC or on a console? Like, what would be the
Okay,
reason I couldn't
a
play it?
release, a game that released this year, but
Yeah.
you were like, oh, I wanted to play that, but I never really had
Never
the
got around
opportunity.
to it.
Yeah, never got around to it.
But it has to release in 2020?
Yeah. Let's here's a selection for you games for the games. Yeah, let's have a look. Okay, what released in 2020? Here's some
Do you
of
have a
the
bigger list?
options. Like bigger on screen?
Oh, no, just like... Oh, no, this
Oh,
is
we
the
can
Google
like
one. Yeah, we can
like,
slide.
ooh. Wait, Halo Infinite lies that never released. Yeah,
Yeah, actually, yeah. It never did.
yeah.
Um,
This list is lying. Oh, Elden Ring also never released.
no.
We don't even know what's going on with that game. Oh, what about? Did you play much of the?
I
Black
finished
Ops?
that. Yeah, I
Oh,
did.
you finished it.
I
Oh,
love
wow,
I
okay.
love the main story, but it wasn't like a big game. It was like, you know,
Yeah.
those B action movies that you watch, like
Yeah,
on
yeah.
a Friday
Over
night
the top, crazy.
when you've got nowhere to be and you're just like, oh, I'll just put something on Netflix. It's like action. Boom,
Yeah,
boom,
yeah.
boom. That's what it was.
Boom,
It was
boom,
fun,
boom, boom.
fun
Nice.
fun ride. Like, don't get me wrong. I can't think of a game.
Oh, really?
I can't think of a game that I wanted to play but never got to, because usually if I
Oh,
want to play
wow.
it, I'll play it.
You know.
But there was
yeah.
there's a game that I got and I wanted to play more, but I just never. I just couldn't put the time to it. Like for me, it's a time thing, and that's Ghost Runner.
Ghost Runner.
I
Okay,
played that
there
for
it is,
like
it's on the
3-4
list.
hours straight, and
Yeah.
I wanted to play more, but it was very repetitive,
Oh, right.
and
the
it
formula
just
was
the formula was just too repetitive.
Yeah.
But the first few hours were fantastic, and I was like, yeah, I'll play that again. And I was like, oh, yeah, probably not.
Wow.
It's a fun game. Like, don't get, like it's really cool, but I don't think you can play it for too long. That's just my view.
Okay, so maybe it's like a few hours, and then I'm like, okay, I know the rest of the game. It's
Pretty
gonna be
much.
this,
Like, I
yeah.
even know the rest of the story. The story wasn't even particularly compelling either.
There's a game that I think you've played that I haven't, and I want to play. It's called Hades.
Yes.
It's that isometric kind of RPG-ish game. That was good, right?
That is fantastic. I played about an hour and a half of it,
Yeah.
and then I said, okay, I'm going to get this on the Switch. And then we were actually going to go down south for a bit, and I was going to bring that game with me and just play it over the whole weekend. But never
Cool.
went down south.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately. All right, so next question. Worst game experience this year?
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody is gonna say Cyberpunk, but I didn't have a bad experience with it. I had a fantastic experience with it. So for me, the
But
worst.
yeah, that's funny, right? For you, it was a great experience.
Yeah. So the worst experience video game I had,
Yeah.
and it launched, and it must have launched like this year, right?
Yeah, launched this year.
Oh, there was something, and I refunded it.
Oh, there is something.
There is something. I just can't remember what it
did you
was.
refund? I remember. I think
We
what
talked
did
about
you
it.
play? Was it this year?
It was this year, yeah. And I just refunded it. I was like, no, not touching it. Oh, I can't remember now. God, it was terrible.
Wow.
It was. I played for like an hour, and I was like, nah, bullshit. I'm out.
Bullshit. This sucks.
Yeah, like don't even.
It was on PC and it was on Steam.
Yes.
Was it RPG-ish? Action.
I think it was action. It was on Steam and it was action.
Wow.
Oh, I know. Oh, look, nobody's gonna know this one.
Oh wow. Okay, some indie game over
It
here.
was something called Sandstorm or something. Or
Never heard of it.
If you
Darude Sandstorm.
Darude Sandstorm. That's the answer to every single song. No, if you go on Steam just type in Steam PC Sand or something. I think it was like
Sands of
Nah,
Salazar,
nah,
Pixel Sand,
nah,
Gods
nah,
of Sand, Bloody Sand, Sand Made.
Look, it was
Under the
a
Sand.
shooting game. It played Insurgency Sandstorm.
Oh, okay.
Oh my! So yeah, 9 out of 10 bullshit, right?
Oh, okay.
I got it. I bought it for like $50. Oh, actually, I know another game that I really didn't like. Oh no, I liked it. I played it.
Wow, this game looks alright. Does
Yeah.
it really suck?
It's literally way too much of a sim for me.
Oh, really?
It's like super sim. Yeah.
Oh, I get you. I get you. Yes.
Yeah. It was way
Wow,
too
it's
like
too
too much of
simmy.
a like Counter-Strike game. The other
Right.
one that I Escape from Tarkov, like I played that for like quite a bit. Like for 1 week straight, I
Yeah.
played like a lot, and then I just couldn't bear playing it because every time you played it, it's like you're going into like a war zone, right? And then you could lose all your loot in one go.
yeah, in like one blow, right?
Yeah, and that was the I just
Oh,
yeah
it's not
couldn't do
on
it.
here.
No, it's not on Steam.
It's like right, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
Cool,
Escape
cool,
from Tarkov is another one. Those two games were just like I haven't touched Escape from Tarkov for so long. It's like because it's so depressing when you get in. Like it gets addictive, but then
Yeah.
every time you go play, you're like, I'm gonna lose everything if I just like get shot once.
And then you,
It's like
you
full on
start
sim.
all over again.
And you
with
start all
everything.
over again. Yeah, yeah.
that
So it's
kinda
pretty.
sucks,
It's
yeah.
really intense. Yeah. What about you? What's
my worst? Oh wait, is that what I said? Worst game experience this
yeah,
year?
worst game experience this year?
Jeez. Wow. Okay. So with me, I'm extremely picky with what I engage in, and I look at reviews. I kind of pay attention, but then again, the reviews let you down here anyway, too. Like you said, it
Yeah.
got a 9, but it sucked.
Yeah. Well, for me, it didn't fit me, right?
Yeah, for me, I was maybe I didn't hate it, but I was a bit let down, and that was Resident Evil 3, just because of how short it was, and I paid full price.
Was
for
that
the game.
supposed to be longer? Like, is it supposed to be in 2 parts?
Well, yeah, they said that the original Resident Evil 3 was a bit longer. It was like they cut out all this content, and I think they were probably rushing it, and they were just probably on a roll to try to get it out there before next gen rolled around. And they probably have other projects as well. Like Capcom has a lot on the go and
Yeah,
has
right.
has a lot of releases. So that was a bit of a letdown. Like it was like a 4 to 5 hour experience, and it was good. It was like nice action,
Yeah.
like very very Resident Evil 2ish like, but it's just it felt like I needed more.
We played Resident Evil 2 together, and we had a
Yeah.
stream on it too.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2 was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there
Yeah, I
was just
enjoyed
some-
Resident Evil 2. I thought that was a cool game. But I guess I was never a really big fan of Resident Evil in the first place. So that was kind of probably the first full experience. 'Cause the
Right.
last time I played it would have been like PlayStation 2 from a rental. Like, do you guys remember rentals? Renting a game
Wow.
for
I
console?
remember renting Yeah, for PlayStation 2
Yeah.
as well. That was when I rented games.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
games were so expensive for that
I know, it's
console as
usually
well.
$100 for like a game. Got a couple of comments. Depeche, g'day mate. G'day Pokewood. Good to see you guys. Oh god, I can't even know where we start. First person, Spider-Man reminded me so much of Batman. Depeche says no one is here. 5. Yes. 6
Yes.
now.
6 now. Ha!
It is-
7. Suck it.
It is Friday. Like, it is Friday.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
because we usually do it on Saturday nights, we've changed to Friday. So I think I used to get like 15, 20 people on, I think. back
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
So I think
usually,
we've
yeah.
got to
mean,
rebuild that sort of like,
Everyone is
time.
Christmas shopping.
and it's
Probably
on a
online
Friday.
anyway.
And it's 3 hours ahead in Eastern states. It's like nearly 8 o'clock, 8:30, I think so.
Yeah.
It said damn Denny, they got my hopes up for 2021. Switch cross save for Hades came out today, so that should be good. Oh yes, okay, great, cool.
Oh, nice.
And Pokewood says, why would you play a new game in 2020 on a base console? But honestly, Cyberpunk was made for
Yeah.
PS5, Series X, and
It
high-end
was,
PCs.
absolutely.
They should have just said, we're so sorry, it's
Yeah.
not ready. And you know what? I guess it's the money. But if they did that, I don't think people would be as angry. I don't know. There's still, you know what? I think the bugs are actually masking how empty the game is.
Maybe. They're
Take
like,
away-
if we make it unplayable, they won't see how empty it is.
Take away the bugs, take away the fantastic missions, because that's literally all it's holding this game up.
Yeah.
And take away the beautifully designed, handcrafted city. I know there's nothing left.
Yeah, I
literally.
know. It's like Patrick. It's just black space.
But
Yeah.
but in regards to content and things you can do in the game,
Yeah.
there's not that much after you take those things away. So once you finish
Right.
the main quest, you're kind of done.
Oh, no.
And yeah, it's an RPG and the side quests,
Yeah.
but once you do the actual like full side missions, and it's not much left. Like there's no
Yeah.
like, there's no, I don't know, just, I mean, there is some collecting stuff, but it's not, it feels a little bit dead after you finish the missions.
Wow. Okay. You
The
know what?
world is lifeless.
That sucks. That sucks big time.
But the whole time you're writing those missions, man, amazing. Amazing.
Right.
But there's just no replayability. And I don't think the things you do, like the replies and things, that I don't think they affect the world as much
that much?
as much
Okay.
as they made it out to seem.
Some people said that as well. They were like,
Yeah.
I don't think it changes it that much.
It affects the side missions. They come and go depending on what you say and do. But not
Yeah.
the main
Not the main
branch. Yeah, there's 6
branch.
endings, but I think it's quite a few of the last few decisions to get to
Right, to
that branches
kinda,
out.
yeah,
Kind of like
yeah.
a Mass Effect.
Right. Okay.
Because there's like the last few choices that make the decision in the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a shame. Well, I hope they really get cracking on it and give us.
And
some
the AI is pretty poor. Like, police
Yeah.
is terrible in the game.
Oh, really?
I just don't engage with the police. I'm like, eh.
They just drive into walls.
Well, no, they just spawn out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
They
of
do
course.
this whole thing-
Bugs.
yeah,
That's
they-
right.
yeah.
Bugs. What was the biggest surprise announcement of 2020 for you?
Oh. Yeah, we've had some. Can it be does it have to be a video game? I guess it does. Yeah, look.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
yeah,
make it a
it's
video.
just a
Seeing
video
as
game.
we're on the theme. Yeah.
Well, we sat through Microsoft's event, Sony's events,
Yeah.
and the new IPs were always surprising because it's new.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like a second something is always pretty exciting. But trying to think of what was a big
Announcements.
announcement that I didn't expect, or
Yeah, something
I
maybe
think-
you're excited for.
Yeah. Oh, excited. I think that's two
Yeah.
different things. Something that surprised me was
Okay, what
the
surprised you?
Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Because, like, when's the last time we had a Harry Potter
Harry
game?
Potter
It was
game, right?
PlayStation 2, and you'd running around Hogwarts and, like, I don't know, shooting stuff out of your little shtick. So, that I think that was quite surprising that we're going back to Hogwarts. We're going back, kids.
Yeah, and it doesn't look too bad, right?
No, it doesn't. That's
Doesn't
the
look like a
thing. It
bad
actually
game.
looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And other than that, nothing else was like, whoa. Because you can't say that about new IPs sometimes. Because you're like, yeah, well, that's different. That's surprising because I didn't expect something that
Yeah, I
I've never
didn't
heard of.
expect something new. Whoa! Yeah.
So it's hard to sort of say. I mean, look, Gran
Yeah.
Turismo 7, right?
Yeah.
Are you surprised?
No, I think everybody knew about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you could say, I mean, Lord of the Rings game. I mean, am I surprised? Not really, because
Nah.
Lord of the Rings has had a
wait,
really good year.
especially because it's Gollum. We've known about this for years, I think.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that
Well,
Gollum
we've
game.
had a really good Lord of the Rings game recently. Anyway, remember we had Shadow Warrior.
Something.
Yeah, Shadow
Shadow
War.
War. or
Shadow
something
War.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
one.
yeah.
So that was a really great game. I played it. I enjoyed it. Didn't finish it. I don't know. It's just probably because I'm horrible, but.
Because I'm horrible. Yeah.
Like, I'm horrible to my games. I don't finish them. But there was nothing particularly that, like,
What about Stalker 2? Did that surprise you? We were like, wow, sequel.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely excited for it.
Hmm.
Because that might actually be the RPG we've been waiting for.
Oh, really?
Because Stalker 1 was one of the most complex
Yeah, you like that.
RPGs, but it was so full of bugs.
The first Stalker.
Oh, holy crap, man.
Oh, wow.
That game had an incredible amount of bugs. Remember, it was a small Russian
Yeah.
bunch of... Oh, Ukrainian, sorry.
Yeah, small group of people.
Small group of people.
Yeah.
And it was just continuously updated for the first, like, 2-3 years. And I think only after the second year that people be like, oh, yeah, it's actually a good game. And like Shadow of Pripyat, when that came out, which was like kind of like a second thing, but almost like an expansion, like
Right.
fixed a lot of things. And I think there's a new version of this. Like that game had so, and look, RPGs generally have a lot of bugs,
Yeah.
but that game, oh, the amount of bugs. Like, you think Cyberpunk has
bugs.
bugs?
Really?
You think Fallout 76 has bugs? Yeah, it was game breaking stuff. You couldn't finish
it was
quests.
that
Yeah,
bad?
yeah,
Jesus,
it was bad.
man.
And this was day one, like, because I was really keen on that game, and I was into my PC gaming as that came out. Maybe I'm remembering it very weirdly, but you guys can let me know in the comments.
Wow.
Comment below.
Okay, well, my biggest surprise, I think game-wise, oh God, what was the biggest surprise? I feel like, well, no, I was gonna say because Sony revealed so many games. That was a
Yeah.
big surprise. But out of those games, none of them were like a massive surprise. I want to say Gotham Knights was a big surprise because we have a game without Batman. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's different. Like, it's all about his sidekicks. It's all about the family of Batman as opposed to Batman himself, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting that they're using Gotham Knights,
Yes.
like, when they had Dark Knight.
Yeah. And the director basically said, we're moving like away from that entirely, that whole Arkham setting. This is a completely new story, a completely new genre, a completely new, like, franchise.
Yeah.
So it seems to be, it's kind of like games as a service, but not in a way. Like they're trying to bring multiplayer into it, but it's a completely playable game, single player the whole way through.
Yeah.
And I guess it opens up doors as well to be like, oh, you can play a multitude of different characters. Here's DLC, or here's a sequel, or
Yeah.
it's just it's kind of interesting, I think, because we had Marvel's Avengers released this year. And that game didn't do that well. And because it felt dead once you finished the main story, which people said was good, was a good campaign. But they said, oh, well, like the customization kind of sucks. Like it doesn't really change how your character looks or anything. And it just like gives you better stats more than anything else. It just felt really empty.
Yeah.
That whole RPG aspect of it. And the fact that it performed fairly poorly on the consoles as well, because it was a fairly demanding game. So
As long as they don't go the route of Avengers, I think Because that flopped, basically.
Yeah, that basically flopped. I mean, we're still waiting for a next gen upgrade of it, and
Is that going to change anything?
I don't know. Like, and then what about the extra content? Could they do something to bring life back to the game? And that's where DC games have an edge with Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad game, because they can learn from that. Be like, oh, these were the mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna implement things to prevent from it flopping.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
I think Avengers is a better game than Avengers.
Yeah.
Like,
Lego
from
Marvel
what- yeah.
Heroes is it's hella fun. Yeah.
I
That
think
was a hella
it's
fun
much
game.
better.
What is the most anticipated single player game of 2021 for you? Do you have
Oh.
one? Is it Stalker?
It's
Is
Stalker.
Stalker?
Yeah, it has to be. Like, I'm
Yeah.
a big like. I'm moving away from multiplayer games, unfortunately, and back into single player. Like, I went through this phase
Yeah.
of like competitive multiplayer. So I played
Sure.
Siege and Battlefield 3 and 4 competitively, and Rainbow Six Siege, and I got to quite high in there, and I loved that competitiveness. But I was spending so much time on it, just doing the same thing over and over and over
Like
again,
grinding
just
away.
grinding.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it was just like a way to like lose yourself in it. And I still
Yeah.
like that, but that's what I play Call of Duty for now, just to shoot some shit and not have to grind. Like, you can jump into that game and you don't have to be a pro, but you can get some pretty cool kill streaks and have a bit of fun, but you don't have to grind. And if you grind, yeah, you're going to get good. But it's like a 20-minute game in and out. You don't have to stress. Like, Siege
Yeah.
was so stressful, and Battlefield, like, it was just a lot of stress.
Yeah.
I didn't want that
I'm
in my
not
life.
enjoying this.
Like,
yeah.
at my age, like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm old, but
yeah.
but the single player is, I'm coming back to it, and I'm really enjoying the story-driven games, and that's why I enjoy Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Because it's so story-driven, and I can just jump in and continue that story, and not have to be like, oh, I better hit that headshot because otherwise the team's gonna kick me because I don't know, shitty player, whatever.
Yeah. And that toxicity as well. That,
Yeah, there's a
from
lot of
other
toxicity
gamers.
in there.
Gosh.
Did you hear what Twitch announced?
No.
I don't know if I can say this on air. On air. So Twitch announced that you can't use 2 words on your streams anymore.
2 words.
Yep, 2 words.
Oh, 2 specific words.
2 specific
cannot
words
be
used. Yeah.
What, in conjunction or like just
Separately, just
separately?
anyway. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Can you allude to what they may be without saying them?
The name for fat men with neck beards that live in their mother's basement.
Oh,
That's
I
the
think I know.
IN
Oh yeah, I think I know. Yeah, yeah.
INC, like INCEL, whatever it is.
What? I think you lost me there.
INC.
Oh, I get you. No,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
I'm
about.
sure chat will get
Okay,
it.
yeah.
And the other one is he who has not done it yet.
Oh, really?
VIR.
Why those 2 words? Okay, I kind of understand the first
Yeah.
one because it's like it's very degrading.
Oh, and my favorite, The Simpsons.
Oh, of course, The Simpsons.
Yeah, thank you,
Yes.
chat.
Oh.
At least they won't ban
Okay,
us. They'll
now
just-
I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So they banned those words, but literally Twitch is full of that.
Full
All
of
3.
that. All 3.
Because I say this because a lot of types of streamers have found that there is a really great market
yes,
for it.
for that.
For that.
All of that.
Because they play some games and some low cut shirts. They make money for Twitch. Twitch doesn't ban them for, like, I know Twitch is trying to clean up their act. They are
Yeah,
trying,
yeah.
but these people are making money for them because they're doing, every time they donate, Twitch gets a cut of it.
This is quite clever because that creates a stigma, which in turn hurts their business because people start to think about it and be like, oh, what I'm doing is bad. What
Yeah.
I'm doing is I should really remove myself. And people will start doing that. I don't want to be a part of that
Yeah.
bad thing. So
And they move on to the Just Fans website.
yes.
I didn't
Yes.
use the real name, but we all know what we're talking
Yes,
about.
absolutely.
Look, it's the state of game, right? The
State of the game.
State of Twitch right now.
I know. My most anticipated game.
Yeah, what's your most?
2021?
Sorry, let's get back to the real,
Yeah,
to the questions
real
of life.
talk. You know what? I'm gonna say it's that new Ratchet and Clank game.
Oh
that
my
Rift
God,
Apart. You
yeah.
know why? It's just there
It's
it is.
not- there it
It's
is.
over here. Yep. It's
Ratchet
just,
and Clank.
It's just super like crazy and colorful, and it just looks like this, complete like 360
Yeah.
away from like The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Like I've had like I've had what 2020 is in a game essentially.
Yeah.
And now 2021 is like this fresh, colorful, crazy start. Like I think playing something like Astrobot has made me realize, oh, these colorful kid-like games are so much fun and appeal to my childlike brain that is never activated in our adult life. And that gave me that experience. And when I saw Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I'm like, this looks wild. It looks like this crazy, colorful ADD circus for adults, yeah. So I'm like, I'm keen. I'm down to check it out.
If you were to look on my PlayStation
Yeah.
4, how much time I've spent, the most amount of time spent in a game,
Yeah.
it's the remake of Ratchet and Clank 1.
Really?
I love that game.
Is that good?
Maybe it's a nostalgia trip for me,
Yeah.
but I really enjoyed that game. Like I played it on PlayStation 2, and I was a kid. We'd take turns every time we died and stuff. And I played it this time around, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a pro." But no, like I died heaps of times. I was getting really frustrated. But it's so enticing. Like it's just so quirky, and there's a bit of jokes, and it's very like the characters are really cool.
It's like a feel good, like
Yeah.
like you're playing a sitcom, like a cheesy
yeah,
sitcom.
exactly,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think these guys, I mean, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I don't see it failing.
Yeah,
But then again, I didn't see Cyberpunk failing.
Oh,
Not
I
that it
know.
failed.
You
It's
can-
half failed.
You can like that's the thing, right? Weirder things can happen. But yeah, we saw how Cyberpunk was just such a ambitious game. We didn't really think about the obvious. How will it perform on these consoles?
Yeah.
And listening to some of these other podcasters, people in the industry who are saying there's no hope, there's no chance that this game will actually perform the way it's supposed to on the older consoles, because the only way to do that is to strip away so much detail to the point where it's like, what's the point now of this game? Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I did a review of Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
It was sort of my thoughts
Yeah.
down on video on paper, and I realized that Cyberpunk itself was very ambitious in what it was trying to bring. Damn it! I just literally forgot what I was just about to say.
The train of thought.
The train of thought just left me.
Left the station of brain.
Yeah, what was it you were saying before?
Oh, I was just saying how it was really ambitious, and we didn't think about how the consoles, the older last gen consoles, were going to cope with it.
Yeah.
They were going to really struggle. If we remove all that detail to actually make it work, what is the point? It's no longer the game that we were promised. So that's
I got it now.
You got it. Okay,
and
great.
it's literally the
We're
name
back.
of the video. I think Cyberpunk is going to be like the redemption story of 2021.
Yeah.
Like No Man's Sky was, where they went from like the trashiest thing. They're going to
Yes.
like, they're going to pump so much money into like marketing it as like, we fixed it, like it's great now. They're going to put in all the features they've been talking about. Because you know what? People love a redemption story.
The underdog story.
Not the underdog story. No, that's a different story altogether.
The falling from like grace
And
and
then
then
coming
coming
back
back.
up.
The comeback
The
story.
comeback. And it's
Yeah.
and you look at movies, right? Every single good movie to think back. And I love this movie by
Yeah.
the way because it's got that redemption story.
Yeah.
That robot fighting one. Robot fight.
Oh,
where,
the Soccer Rock'em with Hugh
yeah,
Jackman.
with Hugh Jackman. I can't remember
Oh.
the movie.
yeah,
But he
yeah.
was a great boxer who fell apart, right?
Yeah, it was something steel, wasn't it?
Hard steel or something.
Oh yeah, chat maybe can
Yeah,
help
chat
us
can
out.
help.
Hugh,
But-
Hugh Jackman and robots.
Yeah, and that was a redemption story for him.
Yeah.
Through into like and people love that movie. People love redemption stories. An underdog is different than redemption.
Yeah.
Because it's taking somebody big, pulling them down back to earth, and them going, wow, I was so blind the whole time. I was awful, and I was horrible to all my peers.
Yeah.
And I lied to everyone. Liar, liar is another redemption story, technically speaking.
Except he gets like cursed because he's a lawyer and
But it's that downfall, right?
yeah, the downfall. Yeah.
And you know what? You like him even more when he comes back.
Doctor Strange. That's another one.
Exactly.
Southpaw.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
great
that's
movie.
oh,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I loved Southpaw.
It's a great movie.
So there's redemptions are a Hollywood tripe, really.
Oh my god. So Cyberpunk's realized that they could be even more successful if they
Yes.
sacrifice themselves now.
And you know
Yeah.
what? And I don't think anybody watching my video would have got that unless you literally sat down and explained why I'm calling this a redemption story.
Right.
Because it's not obvious, and okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I reckon 12 months from now, or at the
Yeah.
end of this year, people are going to be like, Cyberpunk's finally exactly what we want.
Yes.
And CD Projekt has, they really did it dirty, and they really just came back stronger, and there's just, their
Extra
stock's
content. Yeah.
it's just gonna implode because right now there's no direction other than up for them. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no you can't make it worse because it's already bad for consoles anyway.
Yeah. Unless on PC it like blows up your PC and becomes an illegal game.
Well,
it's like, whoa.
Yeah, like in the style of Cyberpunk. And you know the themes in Cyberpunk are so interesting because they're mimicking exactly what's happening with Cyberpunk. At the end of my video,
Yeah.
I really suggest to anybody really keen to watch it because I thought I made a really good point. I said, at the end of the day, Cyberpunk did exactly what the theme they had. CD Projekt Red did exactly what they described corporations do in their game, and they were against. Corporations
okay,
will
yeah,
just
yeah.
make money out of you, and they don't care how it comes off. People get hurt if corporations are corporations. They did exactly what the evil corporations in that game do.
So you're saying Cyberpunk is art imitating life?
Spot on.
Oh my god. That's pretty insane.
Yeah. And that was my conclusion for the video. I
Wow.
basically said they've described themselves perfectly as one of the evil corporations in Night City.
In Night City. Damn. Okay. Okay. Do you have a multiplayer game that you're anticipating in 2021 or you're excited to try?
Oh, multiplayer game.
There's just one. There's just one actually that comes to my mind.
I was keen on an Amazon game.
Amazon game? What kind of a game?
Amazon Studios. Okay, so Amazon
Right.
Studios makes games now. Surprise. But there's a game that came out in like early release. Yeah, this one. New World? Yeah, New World.
New World.
So it
Okay.
came out super trash,
Oh, right.
and then
okay.
they like redid it.
Super trash game.
Yeah, like it wasn't like 7.7. That's not bad, but it wasn't that great. But I was like really excited for it. And it's a multiplayer, plays a little bit like World of Warcraft, a New World,
Okay.
little bit mix of Skyrim. You know, it just looked really interesting, and I was keen to play it. You can buy, I think you can still play it. I'm not sure if it was just like a time thing, but I thought I'd wait for when it actually does a full release,
Right.
and next year.
Okay, it doesn't look amazing.
Yeah,
But
it
like
is-
maybe that's what's expected with these games.
No, that's right. And
Yeah.
I can't think of, like I said before, I've started to step away from multiplayer games into this single player game.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any multiplayer games that I'm like itching to just jam out. Like a lot of multiplayer games nowadays have become a service. So like
Yes.
Valorant, you've got all the Call of Duty like Warzone, right?
Yeah.
It's the same Warzone across like 3 games now. And Battlefield, I'm actually looking forward to Battlefield 6. It's going to
Right,
be set in
yeah.
World War 2 or World War 3.
Wait, what? So,
So,
like a
Battlefield
fictional
6,
World War.
World War 3. Yeah. I think
Okay,
it'll be
right.
fictional of
Yeah.
some sorts. But I'm keen on that because I really enjoyed Battlefield because it's a little bit of
Yeah.
a slower multiplayer game. There's a lot more going on. It's a bit of destruction. And again, because you're a part of a big team, there's no stress to
Yeah.
perform as like a 5-man group. So it's a little bit more less stress.
You can blend in as a noob in a
Yeah.
group of like 50.
Yeah, exactly. And the battles are really cool, and I love sniping in those games. Just absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And getting those long headshots, I think it's brilliant. So I think that's probably what I'm looking forward to. What about you? What are
Nice.
you looking forward to as a multiplayer game?
There is one game, and it's called Back for Blood.
Oh yes, we talked about it this morning, didn't we?
Yeah, I like the look of it. Like I was seeing what IGN were showing. Maybe you can show some footage here.
Yeah, let's do that.
It looks like pretty. It's so essentially the team that
Looks like
made
old,
the
yeah.
original Oh, was this it? No.
Yeah, full
there we
campaign
go.
closed. Yeah.
Yeah. So the team that made the original games, which were the Left 4 Dead games,
Yes.
they left Steam, Valve,
Yep.
Valve, and then they decided to continue the game like years down the line to make a new one.
Yep.
And
Because Valve can't count to 3. So.
exactly, yeah, 3 just doesn't exist with Valve. So this is the game. So the way that they were explaining it is that you get these cards at the beginning, like before the map starts, you get these cards, and I think there's like 15 cards, and then you know how the map is broken down into section. You go like to a checkpoint, and then the map, like kind of you continue on the story later on.
You got like almost like a save point.
Yeah, so you get a few of these cards. I think like 3 cards that are active at any one time between that journey out of the 15 that you chose, the selection, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the game throws in 2 cards, which are like benefits for the game, for the CPU, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it could, for instance, add additional monsters, or it could how do I put it? Like it give you something to fight against, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
I mean, it looks exactly like a reskin of.
It does, right? And some of the
Left
other
4 Dead.
aspects it has, like you can no longer just pick up weapons and items throughout the game. Instead, now you actually purchase the items like before the next checkpoint starts.
Right. Okay, very much.
Yeah, and it looks cool, man. Like it brings back that Left 4 Dead that we loved. And
We played a lot of Left 4 Dead, I remember.
Did, yeah. So
on
there
our
it
lands.
is. Yeah, they picked up some copper, so that's the currency that you use when you're in between the next mission to actually gear up before you run out with your friends.
Yeah.
And they said each and every single time you replay the same map, which is the one map that they actually got to play on, they said the experience was so different.
Oh, really?
But not only because of the advantages and the disadvantages that you have and the secrets that the PC throws at you, but it was also the journey. Like certain doors would be locked, certain pathways would be unlocked. So it was a completely different journey each time.
I mean, look, it plays.
Yeah.
It looks like it plays really well.
It looks fairly playable. This is an alpha stage, and I think they're committing to a June release for now.
Wow.
2021.
Impressive.
Yeah, and
And there's monsters, of course, different types, like the
right.
exploding ones. Yeah.
And they said they did some cool things with the game where they actually force you to split the teams as well. So there'll be like 2 guys who need to do like who protect you from above, while the other 2 guys at the bottom need to like grab batteries or canisters or something. You know, that kind of stuff. So I'm excited for this because I think if anyone were to redefine or jazz up this formula, it's the guys who made the original game.
Well, here's a question for you. Can you remember a game made by people who split off from another
company?
Yeah.
Yeah, for all right. Well, yes. Okay, so the guys who did Diablo 2,
Yeah.
they split off and they made Torchlight.
Yes.
So Torchlight 1 and 2 was great, but the third one kind of tanked.
Well, because the third one isn't made by the same people. It got
It
bought
isn't?
by another company.
Oh,
They
I
just
didn't know
bought the
that.
rights to Torchlight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's why it's tanked. It's like it's in beta, and you can play it right now, but it's trash, and it's super monetized.
So you played the third Torchlight?
Yeah, I played like 10 minutes of it on.
And you were like,
I was like,
sucks.
It sucks. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a beta somewhere. There's a beta on Steam, but there's also like a downloadable version for like the first 15 minutes.
The visuals are great on this. I'm liking this. The blood splatter on his
I wonder
hands.
if they're going to implement ray tracing.
Yeah, most likely. Look at all the shininess from all the liquids.
Yeah, I don't know.
and stuff
With
on
a shooter like this, you'd probably have ray tracing just completely off, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. You want like the 100 frames. when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
playing
You
this
want
with your
high frame
friends.
rates for a game like this.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
cool.
So I'm keen on playing this. Okay. What about movie-wise? Is there anything you're excited for that's coming up?
Well, I'm really excited for Witcher season 2, and I finished all the books recently, so I know exactly how the story goes. But I just want to see more of Henry Cavill, to be honest.
Really?
I'm really excited for
wait,
Rainbow
so
Six
that's-
Quarantine, by the way, because Rainbow Six Quarantine will play out similarly to the Left 4 Dead series, from the rumors I've heard.
Right, but like Siege 6.
But like Siege quality, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool, man.
So I mean, okay, so movie-wise,
Movie-wise, it's a selection of movies coming to 2021.
are Free Guy, is that the video game one?
Yeah, with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
He's
I like
in a video
Ryan Reynolds,
game.
yeah.
Well,
And
there's quite a
Venom
few things
2,
coming. There's Venom 2. There's the next Suicide
Black Widow. I'm not
Squad.
really keen for Black Widow, but
Uncharted.
Uncharted, yeah.
Yeah, this is a movie I'd like see at home. I've got like a pizza or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
it's a
Yep.
Friday night. I'm gonna watch the Black Widow.
June, I'm very much excited for. So
Yes,
I watched like the
June.
9 or so hours worth of June earlier on. Like, I think they had like a whole bunch of like, was it episodic or it was movies, multiple movies? I can't remember. It was like
Was it?
3 hour, 5 hour long movie.
Oh wow.
Like the original Dune.
Was it any good? Probably
I
not.
liked it, but that's
Okay.
because I like that genre of like, it was during the time when Tiberian Sun, the game,
Yeah, yeah.
was like, because the Dune game, there was a Dune game.
Yeah, I remember
I
the
remember
June
playing
game, the
June
RPG
game.
game. Yeah, sorry, the
Uh,
RTS.
Yeah, and I played that, and I played
Mm.
Tiberian Sun and Red Alert, and at the time, I just felt like I was in the right headspace for a 5 hour marathon, and it happened during Christmas too. I remember Dad was cooking, and he put on the movie for us to watch. I just sat 5 hours he cooked, and 5 hours I just sat there watching it.
Whoa, you got
It's
sucked
so
in.
long. It was long and sucked in,
Yeah.
suck it in. Yeah. So I think
June.
But
I
I'm
want to watch
keen
it
for the
too.
movie. Yeah.
I'm very keen on the movie. Like I was even talking about it at work, and somebody that I work with, he's a bit older. This guy, he was like, oh yeah, June, the books were great. Like
Yeah.
he just he knows it, and he's quite excited about it as well in a way because he knows some of the stuff. The themes in the movie, and he was like, oh wow, I wonder what they're gonna do with this and with that, and he was kind of telling me the plot, well, not spoiling it, but telling me the premise of the whole thing, and I was like, oh, this is fascinating. Like I'm keen.
Yeah, it's all about resources and
Yeah.
stuff. But what I would like to say is the one thing with the books is that a lot of the characters had a lot of internal monologues or dialogues,
Right.
and that's hard to convey in a movie
Right.
unless
yeah.
you got the right directors, and then they can capture the emotion of the characters and don't necessarily like
Dennis Villeneuve, man, he's the guy to do this.
Blade Runner 2049 had no internal dialogue from the guy,
Yeah.
but he was
He captured the essence
Yeah.
of the characters.
Yeah.
Like you were kind of in his like thinking what he was or you thought what he was thinking. Yeah.
Because
that was the same director. That was Dennis
Yeah.
Villeneuve. He just captured it. Like
so if
the
he can
moments
do
of
that, he'll
silence.
be able to do this. I think.
I
Yeah.
think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be sick, man. Okay, with the gaming landscape moving into 2021, we have a lot of big releases, right? What do you think that sets up 2022 for then? Because can we keep topping that each
Yeah,
and
like,
every year?
yeah.
Like it's gonna get to the point where it's saturated, and releasing a game is gonna feel like a minefield. And people will say, oh, it's releasing next year without ever committing to a date unless the big dogs commit to dates so you can move
Right.
around them.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
moved around Cyberpunk.
Absolutely.
Look, the thing is, like,
I bet they regret it now.
5 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
5 years ago, you could have gone like, I kind of asked the same question, and expected a similar answer, and gone, wow, what are they going to do in the next, X amount of years?
Yeah.
And I think the reality is, there's going to be companies who will just make number 3, 4, 5 of whatever, right? There's always going to be those companies. There's always movies, or like, there's always going to be Remake. There's always going to be a number 2 or 3. And yeah, like there's going to be a crazy amount of those. So those games and those companies are going to make bank on whatever they made this year.
Yeah.
The things that are going to be things to look out for is actually...
Well, there's not many announcements.
Not many
2022,
announcements,
is
no.
there?
But
Ooh,
the things
Star
to look
Wars.
out for is the new IPs that get a second game. That's always something exciting. When
Yeah.
a new IP, like, let's say Medium has come out, I think this week, Medium?
Oh, is it actually coming out now?
I think so, yeah.
Medium.
Well, there's a
okay.
preload happening.
Oh, cool.
So if Medium gets a Medium 2, that's interesting because it's a game that means that it sold well, and they want
Yeah.
to make another one. Great.
a new successful IP.
Yeah, but I think in the gaming, people are just going to create number whatever's out of them, like sequels to it, and it's hard to create. Like, I don't even know if there's going to be a new GTA.
So sticking in their comfort zones, creating
Yeah,
iterations
it's a machine.
of the same game.
it's a corporation. You just need to keep making money and keep making money by making games.
So games are like movies where it's just all about the sequels and then remaking the games that were successful,
Well,
just
yeah.
like remaking movies.
Mass Effect is making a remake.
Well, no, actually, that's a new game.
Isn't it a remake? They're making
No.
a remake.
Well, I don't know if that is not a remake.
that's a
this
new
one
game,
because
but-
that's a new
yeah.
game. Yeah. So some people are
Resident
excited.
Evil remakes.
Yes, so many. 2,
Hitman
3, and now
remakes.
4 coming along. Yeah.
Well, like Hitman 1, 2, and 3 were just basically like they're all pretty much the same game. They've just
Right.
because what they did is like stories.
Yeah.
So the levels are like the new stories they add. It's like
So it's
all
just
again,
like
a
maps.
service. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
like new maps.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what game always sticks with me? Singularity.
Singularity.
Do you remember Singularity?
No,
it was
I
a
need to
single player
Google
shooter,
this.
and it had one of the coolest storylines ever. And I love a storyline that has to do with time travel. There's just you might have to go Singularity video game.
Wow, game. Singularity game.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on Steam. 2010. Wow, it's old school.
It's-
Well, not old school, but whoops, sorry. It still no longer exists.
Yeah, it's probably on GOG or something. But
Alright, let's see
this is one of my favorite games of all time in the last decade. Because
Really?
I've always remembered it. I always remember what it is. I remember exactly what was happening in the game. I
Yeah.
remember the story, and it stuck with me. It was, yeah. Oh,
Whoa,
hello.
what's this? Whoa, butts.
Nah, that's
Okay.
a intro.
All right.
Yeah. This
This
like
game.
this
What
game.
is that?
It's a sickle.
Sickle.
It was just
Whoa.
it had all these like they had this premise of like you could age and make things new.
Okay.
So and there was Russians involved, there was like military, and there was like this historical connection with like
Wow.
real things, and then they'd like spin things in a different way. There was big explosions.
So it was like over the top crazy.
No. See, it wasn't
it
exactly
wasn't?
like that. It felt like a really smart Call of Duty game.
Whoa.
And there's, I mean, it's, oh man, so good. I don't know.
bit of
I've
style in
always
there,
remember this game as such a good game. And let me know if anybody's played this, because this is,
Singularity. You know,
Yeah.
why have I not heard of this game?
I don't know. I've talked about it a lot of times.
It
Like,
looks fascinating.
you get this you get this attachment that can do things,
Yeah.
and you can slow down time, and you can like shoot
Whoa.
control bullets and stuff.
Who made this game?
It's actually a good question. I never looked in too deeply into it, but
Singularity. Who made you
you
Singularity?
might just click if you click backspace, up there,
Yeah.
and go through, and here you go.
Raven Software
Raven
is the
Software.
developer.
Oh,
What
Activision.
are they
is
responsible for?
Dude, how do you know? Yeah, Raven's been around for ages.
All right, Raven. What did you do? So
Yes.
following
Oh,
the
yeah, Call of Duty. Yeah. So I was like,
release
yeah,
of
they plays
Source
like Call of
Code,
Duty.
Star Wars Jedi Knight 2.
Yeah. So RPG games and Call of Duty Online,
Yeah,
Modern
they have a
Warfare
lot of
4
employees.
remastered. Yeah, it plays like a Call of Duty, like a sci-fi Call of Duty.
Raven
Basically.
developed Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War with Treyarch.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why it plays so well. But the story was brilliant, and it
Yeah.
as you saw, it was very like first person action stuff happening. But the story has always stuck with you. And 9 out of 10 is not bad for a game.
That is not bad.
What's it on Metacritic? Because I know Metacritic is a good example, but it's not the best. Like Metacritic is good for like seeing overall,
Yeah.
but it might not be like they've got a people thing, right? It's got a people.
It's
like,
got a people thing, bro.
score, but
yeah.
76.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, oh wow, look how
Oh, it
consistent
matches up.
that
Yeah, it
is.
matches up.
Yeah, 7%.
And that's exactly the score I would give it. Like it's not
Right.
perfect, and there's a lot of tropes in it, but I just really
But
enjoyed
for
the
you,
story.
it really
Yeah.
struck.
Check what Cyberpunk has. I want to see how far it's fallen, and PC
Oh, the
version.
PC version.
And
Yeah,
we'll
because
have
the
a look at the
console
console
version's
version.
scary. Oh, that's not bad. 87.
87.
And then 87. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly what I gave it in my review. I gave it a 7 out of
negative.
10. If they fix the bugs, 8, and if they make it like bring the life back, I think it's a 9 out of 10. I still, you know what? You know,
Yeah.
you said last time, I still don't think a game deserves 100 or 10 out of 10. I don't think there's any point in time that you can give it that. You can give it 99, but I think 100 is so. I don't think anything can be perfect. And if it is, what's the point of the numbering system, right?
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Because if you go
it's an
around-
expression. It's like, yeah, you're right that perhaps. Okay, well, do we have things that are perfect in the world? Like, what
No,
about
we
a
don't.
perfect snowflake
No.
or a perfect diamond? We need Google. Google, help us. Is there anything perfect?
It's a perception of a person, right? To that person, yeah, it might be perfect, but to
anything
another it is.
perfect.
But we're looking at a score that it's the
We're
score
going
isn't
into
arbitrary.
Quora now. Yeah, is anything
Oh god,
perfect?
yeah, Quora.
Can anything ever be perfect?
I guess to me, 99 is probably the best score a game can get. Because at 100, you're like, well, what? Like, that makes no sense. Because you're using the score to convey it to somebody else. So that score has to be realistic because you're using it to convey it to somebody else. Right now, 87 for Cyberpunk 2077. I think it deserves a 93 if they fix everything.
93, sure.
And then give life back to it. But it's not a 95 and it's not 100. It's certainly not 100.
You know what? I think perfection lies in the eyes of the beholder. So, like, if, for some people that is perfection, and then it just it creates this curve, this median, right? Like, some people are like, this is perfection. Some people are like, this is average. And then it's like, okay, this is the overall arching feeling of the game.
Oh, so you're saying, okay, so I guess looking at this then, 87 is the overarching feeling of everyone.
Yeah.
Those who gave it 100, those who gave it 60, and in between you get like a 80, right? Okay, I get, I completely agree.
And then the numbers skew, obviously, because there's like 20,000 people that have, that are reviewing it here as gamers.
Yeah.
But then again, gamers are not professional reviewers.
Well, let's read a couple of the in-between. Like, to me, the person who actually gives it an in-between score...
Like
is
these
probably,
guys, the professional reviewers?
No, I want the
the
user ones.
The user ones. Okay, this
guy gave it a 6. Read it out.
Performance is crap. Game is super buggy. Basic open world game features are missing. Empty shell of what was promised. I regret my purchase. My disappointment is immeasurable.
Okay, he's memeing.
Yeah, he's memeing hard. 9 hours into the game, I have sadly already lost my motivation to continue to play. I just did not grab me at all. Visual bugs and glitches on PC. Yada, yada, yada. Lots of cut contents and bugs. Personally, I haven't encountered any major game-breaking bug, but the smaller one do add up over time, and it will start getting annoying. Yeah, okay, so this is what the 5s and 6s. Here's a 7.
Okay.
In one word, overhyped. And there's nothing revolutionary except maybe graphics with RTX on. After 8 long years, they gave people this buggy mess. They should have spent another 8 years on this game.
What?
Okay, maybe not another 8 years. You can not even cut your hair or shave in this game. And CDPR talks about this game having deep custom... You can't have a haircut in the game?
There's no barbers.
Oh, there's no barbers.
That's what I mean
the
by
future.
like once you leave the missions and once you step away from that, there's nothing there to keep you coming back.
Oh man, I thought there'd be a bit more.
I accidentally make my hair red.
And then it was like that for eternity.
And then I'm stuck with it unless I recreate the character.
Oh my god, I didn't know that. Well, this game really does suck.
Oh, yeah, 0 out of 10, no barbers.
0 out of 10, no haircut. Yeah.
The thing is, like, if you're judging, okay, like, if you step away and forget about all the hype, and forget about the promises, right?
Yeah.
Of what's going to be in the game, as a single player game, the story and the world is fantastic.
Yeah.
But once you finish the missions, it's done. So if you judge it on that, I can see why some of the reviewers gave it like 100. Because if you're just reviewing it, if you're like, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to review the game. I need to quickly finish through it. I need to blaze through it. And all you get is that content that's pushed to you.
Epic action, awesome, like engaging. Yeah.
Yeah. You leave and you're like, holy crap, that was amazing.
This was amazing, yeah.
And I feel like that. But I also spent more time in it and I realized that there's not much else to this world apart from this. So I could judge and go, yeah, that's 90 or 100 out of 100. Yeah. But the rest of the bits and pieces is like, yeah, this was cut, this was promised, it's not there, you're missing barbers. Yeah, you can start removing those points.
Wow.
So it's again, the reviewers is a bit of an opinion. And so I still don't agree with the hundreds out of hundreds. Like, that's bullshit. Like, the game does not deserve 100.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't deserve
0.
60 or 0 or whatever. I think 60 is certainly too low because that's taking into context that all this hype stuff. Yeah. Because you're hyping it, but you're not judging the game itself. The game isn't 6 out of 10. It's not 10 out of 10. I think it's somewhere in between. Oh, good day, Piotr. He says, I had a few bugs and glitches on the PlayStation 4. In 8 hours in it, it wasn't that bad. But no haircut might be a deal breaker.
Dude,
yeah, like, it's
no
terrible.
Haircut. Yeah, that's
no haircuts
awful.
at all. So
if you're like running through the game with a mullet, oh, you're doomed.
Well, you never get to see yourself, really, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. But people seeing the back of you are like, bro, bad decision.
So let's have a look at console version.
Console.
I want to see how bad
dear
that is.
Lord, dude.
Is it
brace
bad?
yourself. Hold on to your seat.
I haven't seen this.
Hold on to your seat because you will might fall off it. Okay, Cyberpunk 2077. Give us console. More results. All results. There we go. Here we go. 54
go to
for
PlayStation.
PS4.
Go to PlayStation.
Oh, this is Trash City. Look at that.
3.1.
3.1 and 54.
Wow.
Look how harsh professional critics were, man. Look at that. Oh, somebody gave it an 80. Wow. Okay.
As
they
it
really
stands,
loved
I
it.
don't think I can recommend Cyberpunk 2022 if you plan to play
Yeah.
it on last-gen consoles.
People are just saying, just don't buy it now.
30.
Here's a Polish company, gryonline.pl, reviewing it.
That's
Oh,
unplayable.
it's a
I can
disaster.
understand that. Like if you have
0.
if you have a product and you can't even review it, right?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to review it, right? Like if you can't play it, how are you supposed to review it?
Yeah, then you just give it a 0. Unplayable.
Yeah, g'day Adam. Adam says 9 out of 10 for me on PC. Have been glued to it all week. It's a great game. The story is
Wow.
engaging and it keeps people engaged. And you know what? I've been seeing a lot of posts on Reddit. I follow Reddit a lot that say
IGN, ruthless.
that. Oh yeah, wow.
40.
And they say how bad the game is. But then there's all these people going, I fucking love it. It's
Yeah.
great. Look at the screenshots. Look at this. Look at that. And they're like excited about it. It might not like the game might not be as replayable, but the experience itself, like Singularity.
Yeah.
I've played it once and I'll never play it again, but it's
Yeah.
stuck with me.
Yeah, and and The Last of Us 2. It's a straight train from start to the end.
Yep.
You know, with obviously small little open world moments. That's it. Like it's just what, and I'm like, whoa, I love it. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Like I love the story and all that. But yeah, you replay it, it's pretty much the same.
But that's not us or me or anyone defending what CD Projekt Red has done.
Yeah.
They've pretty much scammed people on console. Like
Yeah,
they have. And if you looked at the things they promised for the game, yeah, there's some things that aren't quite right. It doesn't feel as alive. Like they said in an interview, I guess I'm finding out this all after that there'll be, you know, you could follow an NPC around the game. They're going to have a whole 24-hour life cycle of going from places to places, and they don't.
And they just walk around in a circle.
Yeah, they just
Walk
pop up
around the
randomly.
block.
Like, and people have found that it looks like the code has been spliced up, and then in the back end there is really good AI. It's just not working.
Oh,
So apparently, this is conspiracy theory time, right?
conspiracy
But
time.
apparently there is a lot of content in the game that exists that is literally handicapped right now
Yeah.
and stopped by CD Projekt Red because it's too buggy. Like I think they've actually cut content out because it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And but it's there. So I bet you 3-4 months from now, all of a sudden they'll just fix it up, flick the switch, and all of a sudden PC, I'm talking about PC here,
PC.
you'll have
Yeah.
this version of the game where everything seems to just work.
Aha.
Because apparently, like, okay, so like cops, right? There was a video of a guy going, I can prove to you that there is cop AI in here, not just they spawn and shoot at you.
Right. So
And
he's
he
like,
was
here's
like-
the code.
No. He was like
Okay.
nudging the car to get
Yeah.
them to chase him. And all of a sudden, it like clicked and the cops poked out the window and started shooting and chasing him.
Yeah.
And there's a whole chase erupted.
Yeah.
You couldn't get it to do that. Nobody's got it to do that. And this guy was like, he was like poking the bear, like getting, like restarting
yeah.
constantly. So the AI is there. It's just either completely handicapped, like locked off, or there's just some bits of it in code. And somebody was
Yes,
saying that
makes
because of
sense.
COVID, they had a okay, so let's step back. Keanu Reeves is literally the reason for the failure of this game.
Damn it, Keanu.
All right, conspiracy theory time, right? The conspiracy goes that Keanu Reeves was doing a very small part in the game,
Yeah.
but he loved it so much that he wanted to be a bigger part of the game.
Yeah.
And all the executives
obviously.
were like, "Well, shit, that's going to be great marketing for us.
Yeah.
Let's make him big." So they rewrote the whole game to fit him in,
Yeah.
which meant that they had to do redo a lot of the first bit with the life paths.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you've played the life path, right?
Yeah, I've just chosen like a life path, but I haven't played much of it.
Okay, look, I'm not spoiling anything,
Yeah.
but they put a montage in between of the things that happen instead of you actually playing it.
Oh, like if you hit the skip section or something, or
No,
what?
they just put a
Okay.
montage in. They just go
Oh,
from you doing the start of the light path to you going into the full game. There's a montage,
what?
and that apparently happened because once Billy Old Bob Keanu Reeves said he wants to be part of it, marketing and executive was like, shit, we need him, right? And so they started rewriting the whole game. And that meant they spent time on the main mission. They rewrote everything. That took up a lot of the dev time,
Yeah.
and they didn't get to finish all the other stuff in the world because of trying to get this whole Keanu thing to fit in to the rest of it.
Keanu, you bombed the game.
The game was completely nearly done and had all these features because they showed snippets of it
Yeah.
before Keanu happened, and so that's not. There's a link if you guys want to go and I'm sure I can find it. Like it's on Reddit. There's a whole long discussion of it, and it like the guy goes into depth and puts up all these like sources of all these articles where the developers talk about certain features and they're like, yeah, it's all good. And then there's literally like he goes, and this is when Keanu gets involved, and then things just start to like just fall apart.
Oh no.
I think they took on too much and chewed too much.
Yeah. They bit off too much.
Bit off too much that they can chew. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, they were chewing too much, like meth heads. Oh my goodness, that is.
Do you want to turn the light on?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we always seem to hit dark mode at this point of the podcast. So, wow. Okay, so basically, we need to wait for the game to really come out sometime next year after all the patches. They've given us timelines of the patches and what they're gonna do. So they said, oh, we got one for January, we got one for February. They've basically have like these patches that are coming out.
Is that for consoles?
I think so. Maybe both. Probably consoles more so because it's a disaster.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I still think it's not a complete game. Like I'm probably, and I'm not lying here, but I'm probably gonna wait a year before I like play this game.
Whoa!
I know. I'm gonna wait a long time before I play this game. Maybe winter next year for Perth here, which is like June, July for us here. I mean, there's so many good games that I still need to play. And I don't want to waste my time on playing something that I know I could love in the future, but just not now.
Yeah, and look, I think that's the right call to do. If you can have some self-control and not play the game, you might actually get to play a game that might be fully realized. It might be that 8 out of 10 or that 9 out of 10 that was touted. But you know what's funny? A lot of the YouTubers, and I say YouTubers because obviously I've been watching a lot of the YouTube.
Yes.
Like Yongye and like a bunch of other the guys. Yeah. They just seem like sellouts right now.
What? Because they're pandering to the what's hip, like to the right,
yeah, like what's hip. And when the game came out, before the game came out, they were like praising it. It's like the bee's knees, but it's not. Like reality is, after 20 hours. My honest opinion is that the missions are great, but the rest of the game isn't, right?
Yeah.
So that's not... I watched his video, and that's not what he said. And then he comes out and does another video where he's just crapping on it. And I'm like...
Why are you changing... why are you changing your opinion? It's like, obviously, you must have felt that way. And if you didn't, then you're not being genuine now.
Yeah, you're not... How do you trust somebody who flip-flops so much? But there is... I mean, there is reviewers who haven't, like, there are reviewers that I watched, and this is all after the fact, because I went back, and I watched, and I was like, okay, you've said they kept prefacing, I'm playing on PC, I haven't seen the console version, for example, and I really enjoyed this, I didn't get a chance to see all this other stuff. Then there was other reviewers who said, yeah, I did all this, and I found this lacking, but this overshadowed all this, like the missions and stuff. And so there was a lot of like people actually just giving their opinion and their view of it, and not just, I guess I'm bitching about Yongye, but it just really annoyed me this week when I saw all these bitchy videos. So.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, these YouTubers are also concerned about the fact that there's this mob mentality will withdraw, like subscription-wise, or will
it's a business.
Will flip their channel, all of a sudden, and so they're pandering to what the mass wants to hear,
Yeah,
not how they feel about something.
It's their livelihood, right? You've got a business,
Yeah.
and for it to be afloat, you've got to get those views. You get like,
yeah.
if it's not, see, I think one of the most interesting, if you don't require YouTube or one of those platforms to survive, I think you'll be more honest. Like more people will be more honest. Like
Yeah.
I find Linus's videos very honest
Yes.
because he doesn't seem to care about the subscriber side and the views side. He's doing he's following a moral guidebook along it, and the content he creates is never controversial in regards to like being negative towards like a thing where it's not news based. I think
He's very neutral, isn't he?
Neutral,
He's neutral, and he will say it as it is, and he will stick to that. He was like that from the beginning. He is like that now. And so the people who have followed him from the beginning, they're like, this is what we signed up for.
Yeah.
The guy who's professional about it
Yeah.
and is not pandering to what's hip and cool.
That's right.
He's just saying how it is every time.
But his money or his income isn't fully residing in just YouTube. He's obviously
Correct.
got other streams.
Yes.
Which
He has a lot of sponsors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means he doesn't have to, and he clearly defines what a sponsored video is and
Yes.
what is not, like
Yeah.
what's a full review. And so when you're like somebody like Yong Ye or like one of those opinion channels where everything depends on your YouTube channel, you have no other means of like propping up your lifestyle,
Yes.
then you will do whatever you can to make that dollar.
Yeah. Oh my God. Another YouTube channel that flip flops hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're like hitting up these YouTube channels. We're not hating on them, but
No,
like,
we're not hating.
we're
It's
not
a
hating on
business,
them.
right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
at the end
yeah.
of the day, they're making
mad
bank,
respect
like whatever.
for doing what they do, but like Review Tech USA he flip flops so much that he's just a meme of himself now.
Yeah.
Like where people are just like, one day he's like, oh, the PS5 is a really hot console, like it overheats. And then like people jump on his comments and they're like, tomorrow from Review Tech USA, the PS5 console is a frozen block of ice or something like that. Because
I've seen that meme,
he does that all the time. Like he flip flops.
And I suppose I guess people keep coming back to their content, so it's not their fault really. They're not their fault. Like people seem to enjoy that content, and gets the views and gets the money. And I think US based channels, certainly there's a lot more of them and there's a lot more niches over there.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot more people in the country, a lot more people watch that content and stuff. But you could find a very good content from very small YouTubers, which is much more honest than the big guys. And there's not many honest like even like Marcus. I love Marcus Brownlee, right?
Oh right, yeah. He's
Fantastic
huge
content.
channel.
Like
Yeah.
he's got the formula down pat, and he just repeats that formula.
Yeah.
There's nothing new to his content. Like it's not in depth.
Sure.
It's not like he never talks about the bad stuff about a product.
Yeah.
He always gives this very neutral, like, hey, here's a I really like this. I didn't really like that. It's very neutral. It's for the masses, right?
He's the
And
everyday guy.
Yeah. He's your everyday normal guy.
Yeah.
How's that song go?
Yeah, that is
Everyday normal guy.
from John Lajoie.
John
yeah,
Lajoie, yeah. So his reviews are great. If you just want to, if you're a consumer that doesn't care about how many numbers that product has, and I do the same. Like numbers aren't the thing, but sometimes you need to have the numbers. And I really like his content. It's filmed perfectly. He's a great presenter, great speaker. He's got some really good takes, like not hot takes, but good takes.
Yeah.
And so, but it's very, what's the word? It's for the mainstream, right?
Yeah.
And then you get like much smaller channels like Nexus, Gamers Nexus.
Yeah.
Deep.
Yes, he's like the ultra
Information.
underground niche. Like he just goes
Tech.
so deep. Yeah.
And people go for that content. There's a balance somewhere in between. So, yeah, I don't even know why we got into this topic now. Can't remember where we started from.
Yeah, I know. It started off with Cyberpunk bad reviews, but then we went on to the fact that YouTubers pandering or flip-flopping, and then we talked about YouTubers.
As
and now
we're on
here.
YouTube.
Yeah, as we're on YouTube. This is meta YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Kvashnik Pictures says they haven't polished this game enough. That's because there's not enough Polish people working at this Polish company.
Yeah, I know. They've watered down the Polish workers.
And Adam says, how much can a patch actually help console performance? They seem underpowered for this game. People compare it to like Red Dead Redemption
Yeah.
2.
Oh, okay.
Like that's a big RPG, open world RPG.
So ambitious.
But it's not.
Gorgeous.
Because it's like little cities.
Oh.
And then you've just got this open land.
Yeah. Cyberpunk
Unlike
has
in
a
Cyberpunk.
big monster city.
Yeah, it's all clustered up.
Right.
And it's a lot more for a console to handle. I agree with you, Adam. I don't know how much how much help patches will do. I think at some point they're just going to be like, yep, we've had to remove everything out of the game, and you get to just imagine it, and there's a soundtrack.
Yeah. It's basically you're driving through the desert now. That's the game.
Yeah. No, they'll find a way to. There are ways. So there'll be like this draw distance thing where they're only going to load. I mean, it kind of depends on the engine, right? The engine itself is the problem. It's not the content in the game. The engine is rendering things in such a way that overburdens the system. And if they start patching consoles, it might even help with PC. So when you have a game engine, you've got a couple of ways to render things. You've got renders in line of sight, and then it turns everything else off. And that works well, but then you get this massive pop-in when you've got a slow hard drive where when you twist around, and then things start popping in because it's only rendering where you're looking. So the trick is that you render a little bit outside of your field of view, and then as you twist around, it's always a little bit ahead when you render.
Oh my God, that's that old school of rendering that Mark Cerny kept talking about on his presentation.
Yeah. So there's obviously new ways of doing that now, but
with like ultimate speed HDs.
Yes, and now with like a fast SSD, you just load everything up and then only add effects.
Yeah.
Right? And so this game does a part of that where it loads a lot of stuff up
Yeah.
and only does effects. So there's a couple of glitches where you notice that when you're moving around, shadows come back to they've turned off shadows at a certain point, and then they come back when you sort of load into the area where you're looking.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways they can optimize that. Bugs are a different thing altogether because there's just errors in code. Like, oh, this code failed, so I'm going to T-pose, the whole thing with that.
Yeah.
That just means that the engine has reached a point of code with a certain object, and it can't go something's bugged. Like there's a bug in the code, and goes, oh, okay, I've bugged out. I'm not going to crash the game. I'm just going to default it to default position.
Default position,
which is T-pose, because that's when you load an asset like a character into a game, you load it as a T-pose.
Yeah. Before
Because
you
it's
start
easy to-
animating the arms and legs. Yeah.
And like when things disappear, it's just that the engine's missed the loading that part, and it's skipped, so it skips errors. There's just bugs in the code.
You know what that gets me thinking?
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that fleshed out worlds, busy worlds, we're still far, far away from that in gaming.
Well, no, I think this generation consoles we are. I think it's okay on this generation.
You think so?
I think if PC can do it with a bit of optimization, but we're not there yet where AI is actually smart. Like where AI is actually really good, we're not there yet. Even Cyberpunk probably won't have it. They'll have GTA, Red 4 Dead did some really amazing stuff with AI. You could follow a person around in Red Dead Redemption, and it'll be great. And you could follow their whole life, and they do things throughout the day and the whole 24-hour cycle.
Wow.
But there's a lot less stuff going on, so they have managed to do that and fit it in, and consoles worked.
That's why Witcher 3 worked so well.
Yeah.
Eventually, once they ironed out the bugs.
Those
because,
bugs when Witcher
there's
3
small
came out,
towns. Unless you have the huge city as well.
But the frames tank so bad when you walk into Novigrad.
Yeah, Novigrad's amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
when
it looks
I first
beautiful.
saw it, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, but it tanks. Like I remember getting a 90 in the outside and going into there is like 67. I'm like, the hell?
Well, yeah, the Digital Foundry keep using Novigrad as a benchmark for a lot of GPUs. They did that for a long time because they were like riding the horse inside Novigrad, and it's like, here are the frames like at 1440p and 4K. And
oh, brilliant. Yeah. I was just going to say, I'm not sure if anybody's heard of this, but do you know where the bug comes from? Like when people say, oh, there's a bug in the code, like bugs?
No.
So long time ago.
Oh, story time.
Story time. There was, when you had, well, I don't know if you remember, but I'm
Yeah.
sure you're aware, computers had cards.
They had.
And they had punch hole cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what happened was there was a punch hole card inside a computer. No, was it? Yeah. So no, during the time when those punch hole computers were around, there was a piece of hardware, right? And that piece of hardware died, and things stopped working, and they went to this woman went to investigate to find out what the problem was, and a bug had crawled onto a piece of hardware and got zapped and shorted the circuit in the piece of hardware. She took the bug out and the piece of hardware, whatever it was, the chip, and she taped it onto a report, like a piece of paper report, and said, "Bug found in system, cause of short."
Right.
And it stuck. And
And
rest is
people
history.
were like, bugs.
Yeah, I think you can even find somebody took a photo of it like years later.
So it's not a made up story.
No, it's
That
apparently
makes
not.
sense.
That's what I've read. I think if you can go etymology
bugs.
of bug, bug in a PC.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is brilliant, man.
I mean, it's very
I've
simple.
learned something
like, yeah.
today.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
It was just something very simple. I think even the simplest explanation is the best explanation. So
Yeah.
I think that's it. I
Alrighty then.
think we'll end there.
Camera there for a glorious goodbye.
Thank you very much to everyone for joining us. I
Yeah,
really appreciate
thanks.
you all. We appreciate you. You're all breathtaking.
So breathtaking.
And we won't be making a game
Unlike
that will disappoint
Cyberpunk.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Not making games anytime soon.
So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If we don't do another, I'm pretty sure we might be able to do one after
Like a Happy New Year.
maybe a New Year one. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Last day of the year.
We'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
what
we'll
happens.
see
Let
what
everybody
happens.
know on social
Yeah.
medias. Yeah. Have a good Christmas. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Drive
Drive
safe.
safe.
Yeah,
Double
stay safe.
demerits. Don't speed.
Is that across the country?
Probably.
Yeah.
Right? Must be.
I think it
Yeah.
is. Thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you all in another one.